when we consider the cracks in the places where veterans are, there's a disconnect and they're not quite getting there. I think I consider it deeply from my own experience. I'm a disabled Marine Corps veteran, and I think about the first year, the first 180 days after I got out, and the difficulties I have. And that's not to say that every veteran's experience is my experience, but there was deep, deep struggle. I was without a connection to a team and a group and a unit of people that I belonged to. There was a lack of sense of self. There was a lack of that uniform I put on every day. Veterans, while they are, just community members, citizens, they're a unique breed in that they have that connection to a higher purpose. And so when that's lost, a veteran can be adrift. When that system to other people, that community system isn't there, you come home, you've been gone 10 years, everyone else might be somewhere else. Your family has moved on to different things. Maybe you didn't have great family before you left and now you're coming back. Those systems aren't there to catch you. When you're in the military, you are a person in the military. You can look at your collar, you know where you stand, you know where things are, you know what you belong to. Being a veteran is a difficult thing when you transition out. And it's even harder when you transition out and those systems aren't in place. You've got a PTSD struggle. You've got maybe a use struggle. There are these struggles, and then you don't have that support system in place. And I think that is where veterans can really fall into the cracks, is when you get out and you've been in this unit where you have an awareness of who you are, and it's just not there when you get home. Things can snowball very rapidly. And so what we need in our community specifically is to have those agencies who are there and understand veterans, whether it's the Vet Service Office through Olmsted County or MACV, who can say, we see you, we understand. I can pull up your DD 214. I know where you walked. I know the struggle to an extent that you walk through. Tell me more. But what do you want out of this life? Yes, you were a veteran. Yes, you served. You've got a lot of life left. How do we get where you want to go? Because no one's story, veteran or not, ends in homelessness. It shouldn't.
So you spend your entire military career where there's always your battle buddy. There's always somebody that's holding you accountable for where you need to be, when you need to be there, what you need to wear, what you're going to eat, all these things. And then you come out of the military, you get thrown back into the world of, I don't have anybody holding me accountable. And if you left, joined the military, and maybe you were a little estranged from your family, and you come back now, that connection is probably not there anymore. So now you're trying to navigate this world without the resources that, if you're living on an active duty installation, everything is there. You don't have to cook. You don't have to pay for housing. And when you come out of the military, you don't have that, those things in place. So I feel like, with not having that, and then the pride level of not wanting to ask for help, and maybe people not understanding what a veteran has been through, kind of pushes veterans away from going to those resources that are available. Or they don't even know that the resources are available until they walk into a place like the Landing. It's like, oh, hey, have you heard of this organization? Have you heard of this? So as long as we can maintain strong community partnerships, I think we can start minimizing the cracks that the veterans are falling through.
I think the point you're getting at, and the thing I always feel when we have these kinds of discussions, is the fact that if you're a civilian and you've never served in the military, you don't know what it's like to live on a base. You don't know what it's like to be a part of a unit. When you're someone who's, say, a Marine and you live on base, you have a walkable community that you can get up with your own 2 feet. You can go get your free meal 3 times a day or however often. You can take your own 2 feet and you can walk over to medical because you were playing basketball at the basketball court that's next to your housing and your shoulder went out. Now you walk over to medical, your shoulder's back in, you're doing fine.
Yep.
You've got a struggle, you can walk over here and get it dealt with. When you leave that space of knowing who you are based on your collar and your uniform, knowing who your peers are to you, and you leave that community, I mean, it's tough. It's really difficult. And for those with the best family systems waiting for them when they get out, it's tough.
Yep.
When you've got people like you speak to who maybe left and entered the military because family wasn't a great situation beforehand, getting out is hard. And I don't even think we've touched on it. Maybe it's not helpful to this video, but in the military, a lot of us develop some interesting coping mechanisms. And those work when you've got an accountability buddy and you've got a unit you belong to, and you've got some people who are like keeping you between the margins. But when you lose that, and you get out and all you brought with you were those coping mechanisms, stuff can spiral pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean, you were saying about having a good family
Yeah.
dynamic, right? So I joined at 17. I think you mentioned you joined at 17.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you go from living at mom and dad's to living on an installation
Yeah.
where everything is there. Everything was at mom and dad's.
Yep.
Now everything's on this installation, and there
Yep.
was no real skills taught on how to manage things when you have to live on your own.
Yep.
So as a young soldier or Marine, you're gonna, oh, I got this money coming in, and I can spend it because I don't pay for housing, and I don't pay for food, and I
Right.
don't pay for clothing, and I don't pay for all these things. So I've got this fun money that I can just do all these things with, right? But once you're out, that fun money is not there anymore
Nope.
because now you've got housing to pay for and food to pay for and clothing to pay for. And I
Yep.
think that there's just sometimes some of the cracks, I guess, would be the lack of teaching the skills before a service member leaves the military and enters the civilian world again.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.